Asbestos is a commercial term. It's not a geological term, a mineralogical term. It's a commercial term for a product that uh, a very specific product that's used commercially. Um, that isn't what is there. What you have is many crystal forms form an elongated mineral. That mineral can be asbestiform or may not be.
There's 6 minerals that have been used as asbestos, and their health hazard varies greatly. But the amphibole asbestos, which is this type, are more dangerous than the white asbestos, which has been used in most building applications. Right, that's chrysotile. Right, this is an amphibole asbestos, and those ones are more dangerous. And occupational exposure to this stuff is bad. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, so if this were to be mined, the air quality would have to be monitored. There would have to be filtration systems. I mean, it's an issue. It doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be mined, but it definitely is an issue that we need to understand, that the DNR understands and needs to consider before any permit goes through.
As to what's in the rock, that's what the testing is about. And those who have jumped to conclusions about what might be in the rock have been proven, it's been shown that they didn't have the information to make the decision, the judgments that they made. And what we're trying to do is gather the data now. We'll have to present all that publicly, and the public will have about a year and a half during the permit process when all of the data is available. And we're talking reams, thousands of pages of documentation that'll be available to the public prior to any permit decision being made.
In October, early October last year, 2013, that a couple of geologists called me up and said that they had seen grunerite. They wanted to take me out and have a look at it as well. And so we went out. That was October 5th, and we went up to bulk sample site 4, which is where GTAC had proposed to take out a lot of rock for a bulk sampling to see what the grade of the ore is and to see what the milling process would be. And we went up there, and the rock certainly has a lot of grunerite in it. I've got a piece right here.
Can you say that again? Sorry,
It has, here's the rock from that site, and like much of the iron formation up there, it is beds, okay, alternating beds of light and dark, and the dark layers are the magnetite-rich layers. So there it is, a magnet sticks right on there. And then the light layers, in most areas, they're mostly the mineral quartz, but in some areas it is a different mineral, and in this case it is the mineral grunerite, which is an amphibole mineral. And grunerite is what you would expect in these rocks if it were metamorphosed, if the conditions were just right and it got heated up and the rock underwent recrystallization, which this one did, and it crystallized grunerite. So it's not really a surprise that it's in there. It's kind of what you would expect. And there is grunerite present further west and further east, so it's well known that it is in the iron formation here.
So GTEC has said but that is incorrect. And what do you say to that? How do you
That
address
this is not grunerite?
it's not asbestos.
It's not asbestiform and it's not grunerite. It is both of those things. This sample, not this very sample, but one from here, has been X-rayed at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and at Lawrence University, and it has been shown that it is grunerite. The X-ray pattern is that of grunerite, and it has all of the characteristics that you would expect. Plus, it is the mineral that you would expect in this rock. I would expect my students to call that grunerite because that's really what makes sense in this rock.
A geologist at Northwood College said that we had asbestiform grunerite. We met with him privately to keep him from embarrassing himself because he hadn't done the testing. He hadn't looked at it with the magnifications and things to be able to determine what it was. Our geologist knew that.
It's interesting. It's almost like a bow tie of fibers, right? So they come out and they spread out like this radiating pattern, like a fan. And some places they get really long and narrow at the end of the fans, right? So this one, yeah. And the rock is mostly grunerite. I would say the grunerite is, this is just a visual estimate, but I would say the rock is 80% grunerite here, 75, 80% grunerite. The rest of it is quartz and magnetite.
We have to go on science, and we have to go on fact.
But he is a scientist, no? So, I'm just not clear. Are you saying that he's incorrect?
Yeah, he's incorrect. He's shown to be incorrect by University of Minnesota Duluth, which did further study.
There was one test that was done at the University of Minnesota Duluth that found something different. And I don't know how to reconcile those findings with what I'm seeing here. But, we need a lot more study on this. I think it's pretty clear that it's not pretty clear. It is asbestiform amphibole, and it is almost certainly pure iron amphibole, meaning grunerite. But, we don't have any mineral chemistry yet. So maybe there's a little magnesium in it. But in terms of the health question, that's not, that doesn't matter. Because what matters is that it's long, slender fibers. It is asbestiform. It's abundant in this rock, and you should take a look at it right here. This is the brown here is the grunerite, and you can see it's like this bow tie. And the fibers come out and they're like splaying out here on the ends. And if you zoom in right on the ends of these things, you can see how long and narrow it is. I mean, it definitely is asbestiform. We'll go to 150%. Woo! Look at that stuff. That's remarkable. Right there.
And what's remarkable about it?
How long and slender it is. I mean, this is classic asbestiform grunerite. Amosite, that's what that is. Now,
and
it is not asbestos in the sense that it has been mined and it's going to be used as a commercial product, but it is asbestos in the sense that it is a dangerous mineral.
And how hard is it to tell that?
You look at it. It's long and slender, like that. So this stuff, when it's these long, slender fibers, and when they're broken very small, right, during blasting or when it's being milled, they can, if they're inhaled, they can go deep into your lungs and stay there forever. And if you have enough of them in there long enough, it increases the risk of cancer, lung cancer, and mesothelioma, which is a especially deadly kind of cancer, increases it a lot.
There's no question that he's wrong. Personally, I don't care whether he retracts his statement or not. I think, as I say, it's mostly illustrative of there are people who are interested in the science, and they let the science bring them to a conclusion, and that's what we're trying to do. In my opinion, he and some others had their opinions, and they let their opinions lead them to poor science.
G-Tech, when you handed them that sample, what did they say? Who was at that meeting, and what did they say to you?
There were two geologists there, and they said that they know that there's grunerite in the rock and that they're concerned about it.
The geologist from where?
Yes, from G-Tech. So they knew there's grunerite in the rock and that they were concerned about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you gave them...
I gave it to them,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Had they done testing? How did they know that?
I don't know what testing they had done at that point, and I don't know what testing they have done since then. The stuff was originally found at bulk sample site 4, which is one of the places that they had proposed to take a lot of rock out to send to Minnesota to have ground up and have tests done on it. And so I assume that they had studied it there, and that's where the grunerite was originally found. But then later they took that out of their bulk sampling plan, so they didn't actually end up sending a bulk sample from bulk sample site 4 for testing.